What's good, gamers? Boss941 here. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about my initial thoughts and opinions on Nightreign. But before we get too deep into the video, if y'all could click like and hit subscribe as well, that'd be really cool. I mostly make videos about Destiny and the goings-on on that because it's a life-consuming game. But I like to make videos talking about whatever hyperfixation I've got at the time, and Nightreign has me by a chokehold, so I appreciate y'all would stick around for the future. Thank you very much. Alright, so let's start off with the good. And there's a lot of good. There's a lot of good, because it's a damn fine video game. The raw gameplay loop is damn near perfect, and like, go figure, because it's literally just Elden Ring again. This is an asset flip, and some people consider that a negative, but I really don't. I think this is a really cool way to utilize all of the previous assets in cool ways. So, big fan. And with the massive sandbox that Elden Ring presented to us originally, there came a lot of variety, but also a lot of restriction. And I think that Nightreign kind of does the perfect solution of, fuck those restrictions, here's all of the variety possible. There's lots of relics that give different ways to play, or add base stats to make your character stronger. There's that variety, there's the character variety, there's the different weapons that you can find that all have different effects and different move sets based on what character you're playing, or they've got a different Ash of War, which might be good or bad depending on what weapon happens to have it because of the way the motion values work. It's very cool. And like greases, right? I like that greases can be thrown on weapons that already do some form of elemental damage or apply status. I think that's really cool. Just a fun way to stack all that shit together. Surprisingly, it's very playable with randoms, despite my personal dislike of doing so. Even with the rudimentary communication tools available, a lot of that is trusting that you and the randoms both know what you're doing, but understanding that sometimes shit hits the fan and you fuck up. It's, you know, as long as you don't leave the game and you still continue to play, it's okay. Don't be that guy. Solo play isn't awful, which is something that I did not expect. If you just, like, you know, you do have to accept that it's incredibly stacked against your success, but it is balanced down to be doable, because the size of the health bars in some of these bosses is crazy with 3 people, but, I mean, it's doable. It's not the most awful thing on the planet. I mentioned it a little bit earlier, but the characters have their own movesets with specific weapons, and, like, the unique dodge animations between characters, and, like, the character variety is very cool. Everybody gets 2 abilities, one's a shorter cooldown, one's an ultimate, and they, you know, great swords are for Wilder, colossals are for Raider, bows are for Iron Eye, daggers for the Duchess. Like, that shit is very, very cool. And they all fit within their own class fantasy in very, very neat ways. I'm a big fan of all that. Oh, and they've also got progression. Like, it scratches the part of my brain in just enough way to make me feel like progress is occurring even through failure, and that's always good. I know the whole idea of the live service push has been relatively rough, and the execution has also been incredibly shitty over the past few years, and I know that I've contributed to the problem as an avid Destiny player, but I really think this might be one of the good ones that sticks around, even if it isn't a real live service title, if that makes sense. I would really like this to turn into, hey, wouldn't it be cool to try and kill Ludwig the Accursed on Adderall with your buddies? I think that'd be really neat to just go through all of the old Souls, Bloodborne, Sekiro bosses and adapt them for the Elden Ring cadence, or the rate of play. The Elden Ring tempo. There you go. That'd be how you say it. And the groundwork for that is being laid for it so far, in my opinion. Like, you fight Gaping Dragon, you fight Smelter Demon, both forms. King of Storms is there, like, Jokestir Freya. All of these, like, things from the past, Centipede Demon, just showing up now I think is a very cool way to do it, and, like, hopefully, they mentioned it already, but they do plan to add some content, and there's a DLC coming at some point, I think, so, like, just bringing back old shit, old weapons, old bosses, old whatevers, just to shove them into this would be really, really cool, and I cannot wait to see what else they've got cooking. Especially considering, like, back when Elden Ring was fresh content, like vanilla Elden Ring, I had seen the idea that the original Radahn boss fight being a rudimentary raid boss from an MMO built into the Souls game. Like, that was an idea that was being thrown around about it. Obviously, there aren't any confirmations of that theory anywhere, but with how the listed weakness for each Nightlord isn't just a damage affinity and actually causes some kind of mechanical change when utilized at the right time, I feel like FromSoft is drifting even closer to that MMO idea, and raid boss Radahn is a lot of fun. It's not like a challenging fight, but as a spectacle encounter, it's a lot of fucking fun. So like this seems to be that level of spectacle, especially like considering the arenas. It's just, you know, it's a giant fuck off desert, right? Like with that spectacle and like the amount of HP that these bosses have, and like how it's not so much that we have to do a damage race, it's that when something happens, you have to fucking get the hell in there and do a specific thing, or you're gonna get pancaked. Like the fucking Libra being a prime example of a boss that almost requires a specific loadout in order to counter their self buff, because you gotta damage all those sigils, and like a couple of them are up in the sky, so it's very, you know, it's much easier to get and deal with those if you've got like an Iron Eye with a bow on your side or whatever. But shit like that, very, very cool, and I would really like if there was just more of a lean into that facet as time goes on. And maybe FromSoft is planning on doing something with it, because Miyazaki had mentioned at some point that the Elden Ring is very, very close to the ideal game that he would like to make. So who knows, maybe FromSoft makes an MMO. Oh man, that would probably suck but be amazing at the same time. So I don't know. All right, let's go to the bad. Pacing. During a run, you have to constantly be moving forward and making split-second decisions about where to go and what to use, what item passes to hang on to in your pocket, and whether or not the bigger number actually translates to an increase in damage against enemies that all have varying stats of their own. So it's an intense rush of planning a route while on the way through an area. The skill that's testing is really recognizing which enemies put up the least hassle and where you can find a specific kind of reward. Like, you should always fight golems because they're pushovers, and killing one always yields a drop of some kind, so the investment is low, the reward is maybe not good or useful, but there's always a reward. And the runes you get are also quite nice. The same goes for envoys and flame monks. Very simple kills, guaranteed to get something out of them, right? Once you get to a point where you've got a build in place, it's night 2 and the run is pretty much over. I would love some kind of extension, maybe an endless mode, maybe not, but something that really lets you steep in the build you've thrown together and figure out if you've crafted a god run or not. As it stands now, it's a dead sprint into a brick wall, and I would like to have something on the other side of the wall to keep sprinting through, even if it's just another bigger brick wall. I hope that metaphor made sense, and I'm not gonna fix it. Fuck you. For the most part, there's too many numbers to gloss over and ignore because the apathy threshold of messing with the inventory management is just too high. Like, there's so much shit in the ground, so many consumables to pick up, and like, taking the time to parse through each individual drop and like getting the story that there might have been with whatever is in what location, like, that's something that FromSoft has usually given you time to do, and this game does not give you that time. You gotta keep fucking going so you don't fall behind that curve, and you hopefully find an item that gives you access to the damage type or the status effect that is usable for whatever the final boss is gonna be. But like, I think that the pacing is just the biggest problem. People have complained about the lack of content and the lack of social systems in place, and I don't want to get into that because I'll be here bitching about you morons being stupid all fucking day. But like, honest to God, I think the biggest issue is pacing. The runs themselves, the game is fun, the game is pure fun, but you get to a point and you have to get there so fucking fast, and then the run is over. Even though they take like 40 minutes, even a run's like 40 minutes, it doesn't feel like 40 minutes passed. That's really my one big complaint. I mean, I've got some small nitpicks, but like, it's UI clunk, like, just kind of what happens when the Souls UI shrinks and is used in a faster game. I guess that could fall under pacing as well, but fuck it, I feel like that just like a UI is a bit clunky. And like, there are some performance problems where certain boss attacks freeze the game. For me personally, that's really been frustrating because like, my editing shit is based on the frame rate of the file, and it desyncs my audio when I go into Lightworks to chop it up. But that's a me problem too. My hardware is so incredibly out of date, and there are solutions to prevent that from happening on Lightworks side, I'm sure of it. So like, that's really it. Small nitpicks. I think Elden Ring Nightreign is fantastic. It's just shy of perfect. And I think if they added some continuation beyond the final night, or slowed the game pace down a little bit, or made it like last a little bit longer, we'd be spot fucking on. Bring in more bosses from previous titles, bring in more weapons and shit from previous titles, let me go fucking sicko mode with everything, and do it all with my buddies. Nightreign's fantastic, and I highly recommend that you give it a shot if you're even remotely interested in anything that FromSoft has put out over the last couple of years, take a look, spend your time on it, get sucked into it, get pissed off, delete it, re-download it, whatever. Fantastic fucking game. Hell yes. But with that, that's going to be the end of the video for me today. Have you guys taken a look at Nightreign yet? I'd love to hear any of your thoughts in those comments down below. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Have a wonderful day.